Lowdown Sports Show. This show is brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Drew,
I'm BJ.
and we're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. A reminder, this show is partnered with Fanatics. If you need some merch, you'd like some basketball, go buy your favorite NBA jerseys, collectibles, and WNBA jerseys and collectibles. Shop with Fanatics.
That's right,
Shop
Drew.
with the lowdown.
Shop with the Lowdown. Get you 65% off today only, according to the Fanatics website, by
There
using
you go.
promo code LEAVES. You can look for some NFL jerseys. NFL action just kicked off last week. College football well underway, about to start week 3. NBA is right around the corner, Drew. We got and baseball postseason. This is an exciting time of year to be a sports fan, and you can get the best merch in the biz by checking out Fanatics.
Lot of sports going on, man.
Yeah,
We're gonna be talking about some of those sports and some other things going on today. A lot of things to talk about as always. We got talking some Robert Sarver and his suspension and the details surrounding that. We got some BJ's best on tap.
yes,
We've
sir.
also got what's on Drew's mind. Topic of the WNBA side, talking finals. Can the Aces close it out tonight? Yay, nay. They're in Connecticut. We'll see.
Mm.
And of course, BJ's got with it or quit it tonight. And
I thought it's your turn, Drew.
well, we didn't get to the last episode. Didn't go through.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well,
back on the beats. It's okay. It can be an on the fly one.
if it's
It
gonna be an on
happens.
the fly one,
It happens. But we've got that all on tap for you guys today. But we're gonna kick things off as soon as BJ confirms to me that he is ready.
Drew, I have been ready for this for a while now. Let's get
True, I did push back times on recording today.
it.
It has been a busy time,
Oh well, it's
but
all good, man. Let's
we're
do
ready
it.
to get going. Talking Robert Sarver and his situation that has been long and ongoing um, with the NBA and what they were determining they were going to do with what's going on with him. Sarver officially banned from the NBA for 1 year and fined $10 million after the NBA on Tuesday released its findings from a 10-month independent investigation into allegations of workplace abuse during Sarver's tenure as managing partner of the Suns that has spanned nearly 2 decades. And this story coming from Dave McMenamin from ESPN. There's also a link in here back to the story from. Oh my goodness, I hate when that random music pops up on the ESPN page. I don't want to. I don't want to hear your ad. But this link back to a September story, and the in this story from McMenamin. Sorry, I want to be complete here. Down here in this later in the story, after the Chris Paul comments that are pictured in it, says among the litany of allegations first reported by ESPN in November. That links back to an originally started in September story by Baxter Holmes from ESPN, just starting with just having everything's been going on, some quotes from some players in this as well, and the investigation timeline. Um, and we can go through that as we go along here, BJ. But this has been an ongoing thing, and a lot of players, I mentioned the name of Chris Paul and LeBron James, both sounding off yesterday, reading through Sarver's stories a few times, and they feel like the league got it wrong. Read the stories and decide for yourself. LeBron says. He said it before and he's going to say it again. There's no place in this league for that kind of behavior. And if you are familiar, and if you're not familiar with the Robert Sarver incident that has been going on for this long period of time that we've been describing, it's allegations of racism and misogyny within the Phoenix Suns. Uh,
Yeah.
the story from Baxter Holmes details the inside of Robert Sarver's 17-year tenure as owner of the Suns, and the extended story coming from Dave McMenamin that just came out 6:30 last night. So, and I'm sure it will be updated if need be as it goes along. But yeah, that's what's going on here, and that's what started back in November.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul's words, like many others, I reviewed the report. I was and am horrified and disappointed by what I read. This conduct especially towards women, is unacceptable and must never be repeated. I am of the view that the sanctions fell short in truly addressing what we can all agree was atrocious behavior. My heart goes out to all the people that were affected, and I'm sure there's some other players that have sounded off as well, but these are definitely some of the more notable names in the NBA. Being very vocal. Two players that have never shied away from being vocal
Yeah.
about topics such as this. So um, it's a very complex situation here. With, I mean, just as far as will the league, I mean, extend it? Well, I mean, will there be changes now? How many people will continue to speak out here?
Right.
BJ, what are your thoughts on the matter, and how have you seen this, play out ever since things started back in November?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It definitely could have been a longer suspension, more of a fine, but Commissioner Adam Silver said on Wednesday, in fact, that the two situations where they took away Donald Sterling's when he was still the owner of the Clippers, when they took the team away from him, and this Robert Sarver case, he considers them to be totally different. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. He said that they didn't have the right to take away his team. And he definitely said that the suspension could have been longer. And I think it should have been, honestly, because,
Yeah.
all the players that have spoken out are right about this. Some of what's alleged that he said, especially going back to the beginning of the investigation, is just disgusting. So basically, he said something multiple times, which I'm not going to say. I know you're not going to say it either. Talking about Draymond Green and asking, apparently, quote, why is he allowed to say that multiple times? And it's like, you can't say that, not in this day and age. There's just no place for it. And so I don't know. I'm not suggesting that he's gonna, he should lose his team. I don't know if the situation is that too different, though, honestly. So I just don't know where the precedent of Donald Sterling does not come into the picture here. Why is Sarver treated differently than the Sterling case was, unless it's just something about Sterling was even worse so, and they didn't feel that what Sarver is alleged of doing was on that level. But I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I think they are comparable.
And going through the timeline of what's been going on since November, just started off with the release of the story of Suns owner Robert Sarver, the workplace culture in Phoenix. The investigation launched on November 4th. His wife, Penny, sends a message to three former Suns employees back on November 9th. On the 15th, investigators say team employees will be granted confidentiality. On the 30th, uncertainty remains over whether Suns employees who signed NDAs can participate in the investigation. December 10th, Suns employees released from NDAs for investigation. That's the part that was in 2021, and we've got a little bit of a timeline early on, but it doesn't really start to get more get get a lot. It doesn't really ramp up until kind of summer hits, and then you got about 4 or 5 times that we've got some pieces in the timeline here in January. Suns to create confidential internal employee hotline amid investigation on the 25th. March 4th, Sarver speaking with investigators as part of the NBA inquiry. March 19th, Reverend Al Sharpton calls for NBA to end Suns investigation and remove Sarver. April 6th, Commissioner Adam Silver says at Board of Governors meeting that the investigation is, quote, certainly closer to the end than the beginning, which, I mean, I guess here we are 5 months later. Well, let's see. Oh,
But
I
it's
mean,
been less
he's technically right. I mean, that
it's
was
been
like
less than a
only
year
6 months out.
since the investigation started. So
He's technically right. I mean, 6 months out since the NBA started investigating, and then it ended 5 months later. He's technically.
yeah.
Look at you, Adam. April 15th, Sarver retires as Western Alliance executive chairman amid NBA probe. And then a couple months go by. June 14th, longtime Suns employee resigns, cites retaliation after reporting concerns about workplace culture. A month later, July 12th, at Board of Governors meeting in Las Vegas, Silver says the investigation is in its last stage, which I mean, Silver's on point with getting it out here. And then no reports until earlier, and NBA announcing the conclusion of its investigation, suspending Sarver 1 year and fining him 10 million 2 days ago. Um, Silver, more comments yesterday. NBA players making their comments yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the timeline has extended, and yeah, definitely could have probably done some more here. It feels really just like a slap on the wrist for something that was a serious allegation for a lot of people.
So here's what I see in terms of where the difference is, and now you may feel free to disagree with this, but this is what Adam Silver said, that the allegations with Sarver are different because the Sterling case, they actually had audio recordings. Drew, they had recordings of what what was said by Sterling. It's his voice. It's legitimately him on tape saying these things. And so what the difference is with that and with Sarver is that these are just instances that he said, she said kind of deal. And not to say that that doesn't mean they're not true, because there were many people that came forward and confirmed that these things had happened. But yeah, I don't know if it's just because they didn't feel that it was enough of a instance, or there were not as many instances as with Sterling over his tenure, or what. I like I said, I don't know. I don't think it was the right call. I think it was, I think it's a little bit different, but I think that it's one of those things where they definitely could have at least given a longer suspension. I think that 1 year away from the team or whatever is it's laughable. It's a slap on the wrist for, and it almost makes you feel like this is going to, you know, inspire or encourage him to say, oh, if that's all they're going to do, I can continue to be who I am. I just sit out for a year and then I can get right back to what I was doing, and nobody's the wiser or anything like that. And I don't think that's the example the league wants to set. So I think if they're smart, Drew, they're going to add on some time to the suspension. I don't know how much, but 1 year and a fine just does not seem like enough.
How slowly or quickly do you think they'll act on it?
Well, it took 10 months essentially from when they started the investigation to the findings being revealed to make the decision
Sorry,
to suspend him.
let me do a better question. Do
Okay.
you think they'll change the time, or link the time, or add additional fines before or after the NBA season begins?
If they're going to do it, they're going to do it before. I think if this drags on and the month of September ends, they won't do it. They won't add anything to it. And I think that'd be the wrong decision. I think while it's still fresh on people's minds, unless they're just hoping that the story blows over, which I guess is a possibility. I don't think that's necessarily the right call to make, but if they're going to add on, Drew, it's going to be within the next 15 days, in my opinion. I think it's going to be where something we'll see in the next 2 weeks, or it's not going to happen at all. It's going to be as Cam says there.
Yeah.
They need to add on quick if they're going to. And the longer that this kind of is at the forefront of people's minds, and the more people are talking about, oh, they're terrible, they didn't do enough, the more it's going to be a bad look for the league. And they're not going to worry about it once the season starts. They're going to be trying to promote the game, and as you would do as a company, to try to make money. And that's their prerogative, but it's the wrong decision.
Speaking of Cam, guys, we got Cam helping us out, being our producer now. Cam, you're in here on hand with us today. You got any thoughts on the Robert Sarver situation?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Cam. Nice to meet y'all
Cam,
over
the
the interweb.
producer.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that
Cam,
little touch.
the producer. Can't forget that. But yeah, so I agree with you guys. It's kind of a sour taste in my mouth, at least. Like we saw with the Donald Sterling incident, the NBA acted quickly with haste, and they they basically came out and were like, no, this is never going to happen in the league again. And we're seeing it happen in the league again. And quite frankly, like in today's world, it's not a good look for you at all. Um, and so they kudos to them for launching the investigation quickly after it was reported. Um, just I, I definitely do have a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, though. I feel like should have been a longer suspension. Should probably should have been a bigger fine as well. And I hope that the NBA does come and retroactively add on.
Yeah. I mean, if I could like put a quick number to something to slap on what they got here, I feel like they should. I mean, they. I mean, I don't know if they would make a hasty enough jump to add on 9 more million. So let's just say 4 more. So it's $5 million fine
Mm-hmm.
and 3 years. I think the years away from the league would be more of a hurt than the fine to him anyway because he's rich. So I mean,
Well,
just being away from his team for 3 years probably hurts more than
I don't even know if that's necessarily, what would hurt the most. What would hurt the most
taking
is
his team.
well, besides that, if you're not going to take away his team, take away some of the revenue, take away some of his portion of his earnings from his team. That would definitely hurt because where are you going to feel it the most? Is, besides the fine, you're going to feel it in the pocketbook. And I think that
Yeah,
would be the biggest way to, to teach him a lesson if you're going to do something, yeah, as in addition to. I think that would be the best thing that they could do.
right.
Take like 5% of his earnings from this season or whatever, and then like, 2.5 each of the next 2 years or something. If they're not going to add on time to a suspension.
So, what if they, since this involves the Suns, since he's a multi-billionaire, quite frankly, I mean, a $9 million fine, honestly, is kind of a slap on the wrist still. Um, when you have that kind of money.
I
What
think they've already
about,
started too low to really
Yeah,
jump it up to where it needs to be. I mean, like they
yeah,
just stay set
that's the
on one
problem.
million. You can't. I mean,
what,
if you give it 10 times more, it's only 10 million. Like it sounds cool
yeah,
and all, but it's only 10 million.
Yeah.
yeah. What if they start doing like cap penalties?
I don't
That's
know.
that's an option. I don't see them
I don't know if
really
they'll get
doing
that
anything.
creative.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah,
going to do anything to the team itself. They're not trying to punish the Suns. They're just trying to punish him. And I think
Yeah,
that's where you get the, take a portion of his profits from the team.
yeah, probably the best way to go about that. To be honest, well, hopefully we'll get some more. I think the more players that become vocal about the situation, which, like I said, there might be some that I still have not seen.
Hmm.
But if there are more players that'll speak out, openly about that, that'll definitely help move the needle. Maybe some NBA legends just have to say the word or something as well. And,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to get that going because Magic Johnson kicked off the retiring Bill Russell's number, and it didn't take much to get that done within, like, I believe 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's see how hastily we want to act when misogyny and racism is at the forefront here.
Well,
Uh,
they're already dragging their feet on this.
yeah, yeah, that's not a good start.
No.
But let's go ahead and move on here. It's been a while since we've had it, but I mean, there's been plenty to go on, so I'm sure we've got some good stuff here. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for BJ's best.
That's me. BJ's best, Drew,
Tis
for
you.
today. I've just got a quick question for you. And Cam, I'd like to actually hear from both of you guys for this segment. So I'm gonna bring you
Okay,
on. I'm gonna bring both of you in here. You guys like ice cream, right?
Not too much,
absolutely.
but yes.
Not too much, but yes. Okay. So ice cream in general, or you like milkshakes? What
I'm
kind of
down with
things?
milkshakes too. Um, I don't mean, what's the difference between a milkshake and a malt again?
There is something
So
that you add to the malt. It's like powder, and it's
Oh,
supposed
traditionally,
to.
a malt is
they
kind of
put
thicker.
Coke in
Yeah.
malt. That's what going
Yeah,
on.
Yeah.
Oh, they do. They put Coke in malts. That's what y'all saying. That's what.
I don't think
Ah.
that's
I
quite
was
the
not
case,
They
saying
but
took it out of
cocaine.
Coca Cola. They had to put it somewhere. I guess it's in the malts now,
they're good.
guys.
Now the ice cream sodas, that's a good idea.
Oh,
Anyway, so I bring up milkshakes
yeah.
because in Arizona, guys, uh, not trying to intentionally do this, but it's funny how it worked out. An ice cream shop in Arizona broke a Guinness World Record by having the most variety of milkshake flavors available, and not only
Oh
that,
man.
they made every single one of their milkshakes this past weekend in an hour and 15 minutes. They made 200 plus different milkshakes in only 75 minutes.
All
So
day.
it's interesting because some of these flavors
Do
I
we have reviews on these milkshake flavors?
they look good from the pictures I was able to see on
No
Instagram.
reviews though. I'm disappointed.
I don't know if they
Do
have
you
reviews.
have the name of the place?
Because
I'll
they
look
Yes,
it
made,
up.
you said 200 flavors. Like I need to see like when
266
when
milkshakes.
somebody had that apple cinnamon delight milkshake. How was it? You know what I'm saying? There
Yeah,
was some
Yeah.
interesting stuff in there.
So
Interesting
so
yeah.
concoctions.
So the name
what's
of the place is Delgadillo's Snowcap. It's in a town in Arizona called Seligman.
That just
Um,
this makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so
This is all lining up.
I was about to say that part of
Weird
the
stuff.
reason that you may never heard of it is because it's along Route 66, the historic Route 66, and this what they
Oh,
did,
okay.
yeah,
I
what
know
they
where that
did to
is.
promote, the I think Mobile One was coming through that area in part of
Yeah.
trying to keep the historic Route 66 relevant and thriving in this day and age. Is they did this stunt where they had 266 different milkshakes that they made in 75 minutes. Some of the unique flavors range from peanut butter and onion ring to banana and chili, as well as orange and fish burger. Now,
Dude,
yeah,
no
I know
man.
that
Come
doesn't
on, man.
necessarily
A
sound great.
chili
I
milkshake?
tried the chili one. I would try the chili one.
A
Oh
chili,
no, not a milkshake, dude.
banana
Like
and chili though.
chili in no facet is good cold. Like nobody said, man, I love my chili cold. Like I understand cold pizza every now and then or whatever,
Hmm.
but like
Breakfast pizza.
yeah, I mean, but cold chili, it is meant to be hotter than the Dickens. I just can't
I
imagine
don't
a
disagree with you,
milkshake version. I would be disgusted.
Yeah.
but so on Google Maps, it holds a based off of 1,416 reviews. It has a 4.7.
So people
On
like it.
on the restaurant itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Uh,
mean, well, I can get down with the
so
fact that they in general have good milkshakes, but there are
Some of the
200
different.
some odd
Yeah.
flavors, and I can guarantee that at minimum half of them are awful.
I don't
So
disagree.
here's a. I'm going to try to show this off. This is from Instagram. This looks like a chips and salsa milkshake, where it's got
Dude.
the chips and the salsa
All
on
right, I would
top
be
of
down
the
to try
milkshake.
that, honestly. That'd be one of those weird ones. It's like, you know what? I like jalapenos. I'm a big chips and salsa guy. It's sitting on the top. It's not drowning in the first thing I'm gonna drink because my straw's
Yeah.
at the bottom. So,
So
what is
here's
that? Is that
another
like a
one.
hush puppy?
I was
I
gonna
think
say,
it's
I think that's a
chicken. It
hush
looks like
puppy.
orange, a slice of orange and chicken. I'm trying to tell,
Orange
Almost
chicken?
looks like it almost looks
or
like a
maybe it's a
hush puppy.
jalapeno popper. It may be a jalapeno popper. I
It could be
cannot
multiple
tell.
things at this point now
Uh,
that we're.
and then here's one that you talk about. Wow,
I know.
a whole ass burger on top
That's
of the
that's that's
milkshake.
doing far too much.
That is way too much. But like I said, I mean, they had 266 different unique milkshakes, so they had to
That
come
that
up with
la-
some ideas.
Yeah,
that
I
last
mean,
one definitely belongs on Food Cribe
I think
subreddit.
it's just that's just too much. But hey, I mean, I know I'd be in line to be like, man, where's the peanut butter delight with the caramel? I don't even know. Just finding something that a lot of things that might sound cool together and be like, y'all got that?
So this
They
is
might.
a family, the Delgadillo family that owns Snowcap, says the
Delgadillo.
business has been in their family for generations. They opened it up in 1953, originally as a drive-in restaurant, and so apparently their menu has attracted residents from all over the state of Arizona and from even some parts of the country. Um, They
We need the Delgadillos on these commercials on ESPN because I'm tired of seeing the Antonellis. We've got to have somebody new. And like I swear, in any like playoff basketball game
Fair.
or something,
Yeah.
and
Well, I mean, it's like seeing the Fansville Dr.
man, where are
Pepper
the
commercials
Antonellis?
on weekends or something like that. You get to the point where you can just predict what's about to pop up because you've seen it so many times. They show it at least twice every quarter during a
It's
game.
it's like that radio ad that repeats as you're driving, and you know, like you end up by the time you're an hour and a half in your trip, you know the O'Reilly's commercial.
Yeah, yeah, that one or some of like the local businesses where like
Yep.
you're humming the jingle along and it's to some windows and
Like
siding shop or something like that.
like like 105.3 The Fan, they've got this Junk for Joy ad. This
Oh
the
gosh.
most extremely annoying jingle that. And as soon as I hear the da 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 da, I'm like, donate
Flip.
the junk for joy. All right, donate the junk for joy. Okay,
See,
all right,
now
cut it off.
that's the thing though, is like when I get to an ad break, like on especially on the radio, I'll flip to something else, even if it's to a music station, because I can't deal with it. Like both of us we have extensive, you know, dealing with advertisements that we had to listen to because in terms of timing, everything like that, you got to know when to go back from the breaks to a song or go back to a show or something like that.
Now,
So when I'm listening normally, I can tune it out, and because I'm not trying to hear the ads.
hey, don't get me wrong. I don't mind the ads. I like a good ad every now and then, especially the ones that we deliver out. DraftKings, Raycon, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But there's there's some that have those annoying jingles that you just can't
Yeah,
get out of your head. That like, you like the radio station, you don't mind every other ad, but like this one, it just gets you. It's just this annoying jingle that
yeah,
you can't get out of your head, like a bad Christmas song. If you're a person that doesn't
yeah,
like Christmas and like, oh my
yeah.
God, you just can't stand jingle bells. Every time mid-November comes around, you just hear jingle bells for a month and a half, and your head wants
Beginning
your
of November, the way it's going, sometimes some of these are starting up before Halloween, Drew.
as
It's
soon as Halloween
ridiculous.
ends, it's
Yeah.
Christmas party.
But that's the thing is like, I can say a number and you'll tell me exactly what the spot is, okay? I'm gonna say the number and you're gonna finish it, okay? 267-8433.
Oof.
You know what that is?
I know, actually.
Yeah. It's 267-8433. The next best thing to new is Dalworth Clean.
Oh, I didn't know that one. I did
Oh,
not
you
know
don't
that
know
one.
that one?
No, I do not.
Oh wow, that's one I used to hear all the time. It's like I think it's like my first permanent memory in the back of my mind. I heard that one all the time growing up as a kid for vacuum cleaner, vacuum company.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Did they work for Walter White?
not that I know of. No, it
Sorry,
wasn't.
he
That's
got a car wash, not
not
a
yeah, car
vacuum
wash. I was about
cleaner.
to say. But if they ever do play Crystal Blue Persuasion or Baby
Oh
Blue,
man.
then you'll know it's a Walter White reference.
Yeah.
Oh man, Drew.
Is that it for
Speaking
BJ's
of,
best?
yeah, that's it for BJ's best. Speaking of
Okay.
advertisements,
Man, we're right there.
yeah.
It's time to tell you lovely people about DraftKings Sportsbook. NFL season in full swing, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, our Dallas Cowboys are the only team that did not score a touchdown in Week 1, so we're down bad out here in
Oh
Texas.
no.
But you don't have to be down bad with DraftKings Sportsbook, ladies and gentlemen. The NFL's opening week was action packed, and it's just getting started. Get ready for that Week 2 action full of touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins at DraftKings Sportsbook. An official sports betting partner of the NFL. This week, new customers, which could be you, can bet just $5 on any football game. Don't bet on the Cowboys. Don't bet on the Cowboys. Go bet on a
No.
better team. Go bet on a better team with a healthy quarterback. On any football game and get $200 in free bets instantly.
Yeah, you want to talk about healthy quarterbacks? We got two of the best in the game, in my opinion, tonight on Thursday Night Football with Justin Herbert of the
Let's go.
Chargers and Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs squaring off. If you want to bet on that game or any of the other games you can find on Sunday, including such gems as Brady and the Bucks taking on Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints, maybe you like what you saw from Mitch Trubisky and the Pittsburgh Steelers, or You liked what you saw out of Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. Oh my, you can go and get some more action because everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's simple, Drew. This Sunday, you bet on any NFL team to win. If your team leads by 10, that's right, 10 points at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. Man, 10-point lead. I don't know if the Cowboys are going to score 10 at all in a game.
You should definitely bet on the Bengals. Bet on the
Yeah,
opposing team.
Bengals will be up big.
Burrow bounce back is
A
that's what we'll
Burrow
call it.
bounce
This
back.
and
Yeah,
Burrow bounce back in week 2. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code TBPN to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code TBPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL.
minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, Drew. I ask you every week we do this, but before I ask you what's on your mind, what have you been listening to? I think you've got a lot of. You're always telling me about this new music that you want me to listen to, and I'm so stuck in my ways with all the old school rock and roll that I listen to that I never take your advice, but maybe I should.
Man, it's really been a weird week. I've really been so sporadic. I could not give you a single like specific artist that I probably even listened to the most. I've had to bounce around everywhere. It's been one of those weird weeks where you gotta
Hmm.
go back and find your old music that gave you some vibes that you felt from back in the day.
Yeah,
Remember a good time, like, hey, I was listening to this when I was doing this. So I mean, I was doing a lot. Coetzel the weekend, just
good
bouncing. But
stuff. Good stuff.
definitely some good guys I recommend as well. But it's been great. Those guys that I've been on lately. Along with numerous others. It's been great just because I've been using those Raycon wireless earbuds to do it.
Yeah, I can understand that, Drew. And you said it with the Raycon Everyday Earbuds. You can listen to music and it will look, feel, and sound better than ever. You got those optimized gel tips so you can get the perfect in ear fit. They're comfortable earbuds. They're not going to budge on you, they're not going to fall out when you're running down the hill or running up the hill, whatever Kate Bush said. I don't remember. Um, but they're not going to budge. You can work out, you can exercise, everything like that, and you don't have to worry about losing your earbuds. Also, Raycons give you 8 hours of playtime, and they have a 32-hour battery life. You can, plug them in, and you're gonna have them for a couple days before you'd have to plug them back in. Raycons are also priced just right. Quality audio from Raycon at half the price of the other premium audio brands. Drew, it's no wonder to me why Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 50,000 five-star reviews.
Yeah, man, and they got those features you just can't beat. Earbud tap functions, noise isolation, awareness mode. I mean, I'm fans of them all. I mean, I'm personally, you know what I rock with that noise isolation. I'll rock with some awareness mode too. I rock
Yeah.
with that. I'll get with that,
Oh,
BJ.
yeah.
I can get down with that. When I use my Raycons, I'm usually out walking with my dog, or I'm listening to some music while I'm working at work. I mean, it's convenient, right there, ready to go, quick, easy, right there. Pick it up, pop them in, listen to my music right there. Don't have to have these big headphones all the
Yeah.
time. Just need my Raycon earbuds.
Yeah.
Uh, Make sure you go to buyraycon.com today and use code TBPN15 to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's code TBPN15 at buyraycon.com to score 15% off. That's buyraycon.com, code TBPN15.
Awesome stuff from Raycon as always, Drew. Now, why don't you end my suspense? What's the national day today, or what's on your mind today? I was trying to find something earlier, and I didn't see a whole lot that I was interested in. So maybe you had some trouble with that as well.
Well, quite a lot on my mind, actually more than usual, to be honest. Um, but this time around, there is a national day out there today. I did not go with that, however. I did
Okay.
see someone else, the fan that I was talking about earlier in reference, be, introduce the national day. It's actually National, I think, Double Cheeseburger Day. So shout out to Wendy's for making the top 5. You deserve to be there. I'm glad
Really?
you got
Yeah.
your due respect.
Gonna make me
And
hungry again, Drew.
wait, sorry, the top 10, not the top 5.
Okay.
Whataburger made the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just dues
Rightfully
for that
so.
as well, rightfully
Rightfully
so.
so.
But no, we're not going with that today. We do have a couple of things. One's going to be quick, one a little more detailed. Um, this first one, starting with Nick Cannon. You know Nick Cannon, BJ? You familiar
Yeah,
with Nick
Wild and
Cannon?
Out, right?
Wildin' Out, yeah.
Yeah.
Wildin' Out, one of my favorite shows of all time that is still going on to this day.
Yeah.
Believe that or not. But, something else that's still going on to this day, BJ, and has been going on for a while as he racks them up, is Nick Cannon having babies. Nick Cannon
What a
today,
transition.
BJ. Nick Cannon today, BJ, welcomed his ninth
Oh
child.
my goodness.
His ninth child. You
Wow.
you ever when you were younger hear that movie Cheaper by the Dozen?
Yes. Very
Yes.
familiar with it. It's a
He
great
is
movie.
approaching that number, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And I believe that he could realistically get all 3 of those to get his 12, his dozen kids before
Yeah.
I have my first. I would put money on that. He is going at an incredible pace that is just unthinkable for man.
Yeah.
Most of the population in about 50 years will
Hmm.
be a descendant of Nick Cannon.
He's approaching Antonio Cromartie numbers, Drew, it sounds
How
like.
many's he got?
I think he had double digits. I don't think he got 12, but I
Hey,
think he had
on
10.
well, this is funny then. Neither one of them have as many kids as my uncle does.
How
He
many?
has 11.
Oh my goodness.
He has 11
11.
kids. He has
Wow.
11 kids. So, this
Coming
East
pretty
Texas
close.
area and some of Dallas, you are descendants of my uncle in some
Well,
way, shape,
I
form,
was
or fashion. Those are already
Oh
dispersed.
my
Like his
goodness.
grandkids are my age. So,
Wow. That's
yeah, or
insane.
like not too far behind. But,
Wow.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
a lot of
that's the
kids.
thing. Yeah.
Far too many.
Philip
That's
Rivers has quite a few too. I don't know if he got up
He
to 10
doesn't
or
have near
11,
as
but
many. He's got like a
not
lot
as
of
many as
girls. He's got
Cromartie.
like 4 girls, is what he's
Yeah.
got. How do you remember all the birthdays? That is a remarkable question. You
He
got to start
doesn't.
having babies around the same time of year. If
You
I was
got
doing
to
that,
write them all down or
I'd be
something.
like, you know what? We gotta have fall babies, baby. They got to be born between September and November, or August. Sorry, August and October. Probably a little bit better
Yeah, I
situation
was gonna
there.
say you want some
August,
more of those babies in cancer season. I know
like we're
you.
gonna start the year off or in the year by making a baby, and then they'll pop out right at that about right at that time, and you can just be like, hey, his
Heck of a way to
birthdays.
say Happy New Year there,
Their
Drew.
were their birthdays are about 3 weeks apart, just a year off from each other, or
Yeah.
2 years or 3 years off. Just
Well,
like, hey, I don't have
that's a
to worry about January through July because I know there ain't a single one of my kids' birthdays up there. You strategize.
oh man.
Leo
Well,
gang, yes sir. Let's
that's a
go.
funny thing to me, Drew, is that like I've got 3 brothers, and they're one is 2 years younger than the other two, but the middle two that are younger than me but older than he is are only separated by 11 and a half months. It was
Mm.
not too long, and it wasn't necessarily something that was planned out that way, but it happens. So it does happen where you get a couple babies that, I mean, they're separated like 2 weeks. Would have been like 2 weeks longer, would have been a year that separated them pretty much like full on straight up.
BJ, can you guess the name of Nick Cannon's, just the first name of Nick Cannon's new child? It's a girl.
Okay, well, I was gonna say Wild,
Hold on.
but maybe
Think
it's
outside
Out.
of Let me help you here. Think outside of the box. Don't be like, "Oh, Ashley, Stacy." No, it's not.
Okay, well, let's see
You'll
here.
be way off.
Rhonda.
Wow. That's
I
that's
was
not
outside the box.
that is not outside the box. That is an old white woman. That is an all white woman.
What do you want me to guess then?
I don't know. I don't know if I guess you've never seen or know any of the names of his kids, but
No,
they
no.
at least half of them have interesting names. Let me just
Okay,
um let me go through some of them. Cannon also shares fraternal twins, Moroccan and Monroe with his ex-wife Mariah Carey, and
okay.
has a son named Golden and a daughter named Powerful Queen with model
Interesting.
Brittany Bell, and twin
Okay,
sons Zion and Zillion. So
very interesting.
he gets very
Very
creative
unique.
with the
Yeah.
naming of his
Well, let's
kids.
see. If you give
Oh,
me a letter, I might be able to guess a unique name.
oh,
Oh, okay. Um,
oh! This is a hilarious hint. It was a Pokemon.
only thing that I'm coming up with is Ozymandias or something like that. But I
What?
know
No!
that's
Come
not
on,
it.
think Pokemon, bro. Come on.
I know. I can't think of the Pokemon with an
Ah,
O name.
Onyx.
Onyx. That's a good one. That's actually interesting. A very interesting baby name.
But it's a girl. Like I wouldn't think that he would have named his
Yeah,
girl
Onyx does kind
Onyx.
of sound like a boy's name though. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I
but
mean, maybe
hey,
he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't care whether if it. I mean, it's he could have gone something like Olivia or
it
you know
almost. I mean, it could be. Honestly, it could be neutral. To be honest,
yeah.
I'll go with that.
I was
But
gonna
I
say
mean,
it's a Pokemon. So
full name of the child: Onyx Ice Cold Cannon.
awesome, interesting, very
Yes.
very unique, very
Very
unique.
interesting and very unique for sure. Very good words, BJ. Very, very good choice of words. The
Yeah.
second thing that is on my mind that I will speak about today:
Okay.
fantasy football week one.
Oh yeah.
BJ, you playing a little fantasy football this year?
I am. I got a couple leagues. I was victorious in one, and then Cam Akers happened in the other. So that's
Oh,
unfortunately. Yeah.
so you've got a total of how many leagues?
I have two.
Two leagues, and you went 1-1 in week one.
Correct. Yes. 1-1.
Okay. What was is Cam Akers your biggest downfall in week one? Who else
Uh,
let you down?
let's see. Well, I'll look back on it, but that's pretty much the one that immediately comes to mind. And not only that, it's in the paid league, so it's kind of like well,
Oh yeah.
dadgummit.
Okay, sorry. So now I know. So you have one paid league, one unpaid league.
Yeah, one free, one paid.
Okay,
Um,
and you lost in the unpaid.
no, I lost in the paid. I
You
won in the
lost
free
in the
league.
paid.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's
lost in the
because of
paid, one in the free. Okay.
yeah.
So
Um,
that's really an L on the week, to be honest, because the
I
free
mean,
doesn't really
kind
matter as much, just bragging rights
yeah.
versus money on the line.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: Akers not getting anything, but I had Kareem Hunt and the Pittsburgh defense on the bench, and both of those players could have helped me to win. So but who would have thought Pittsburgh's defense going up against Joe Burrow compared to an Indianapolis defense going up against the Texans and Baker?
Right. I started
So
Indy defense too on one
yeah,
of my teams.
so I got 7 points, but when you lose by 14 points and you had an extra 16 points on the bench, it's kind of, you kick yourself because it's like just, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but how are you supposed to know?
Yeah. Cam said he fell victim to Cam as well.
Oh,
Cam just letting another
Akers.
Cam down.
Dadgummit.
Cam letting
Dadgummit.
his twin
LA
down.
Rams letting us all down.
Yeah. I did. I threw a bet on the Rams, to be honest, for that opening game
Oh,
because of the history of Super Bowl champs. They have a better record as far as winning the opening game. I went with
yeah.
it, be like, yeah, maybe the Rams can upset the people that everybody thinks is going to win it all this year, but no, they got beat down.
No. Buffalo's
Um,
defense looked legit.
so you went 1-1 in week one and
I
lost
did.
in your only paid league.
Correct.
That is
Yeah.
pain, my friend.
It's
Well,
pain. It's pain. I saw a tweet that was joking about like Cam Akers fantasy owners, and they're like, they hold up the bleach ball like, and then like no, and they're like, like lunging off the balcony or something like that. So I
yeah,
was laughing because I could relate.
yeah.
Oh man.
Um, and for me in fantasy week one, which is what I was slowly getting to, um, it went okay. Could have gone better, but
Yeah.
it went okay enough in the right leagues for it
To
to
make it
not be
worth
as
it.
bad as it could have been. So I'm in
Yeah.
5 leagues, BJ. I did not mean to be
Ooh.
in 5 leagues. I did not.
Wow.
I was forced into two of them. I was trying to just pay. I was trying to do all paid ones this year. Did not
Wow.
work out. Ended up getting stuffed in another one. My brother decided to come back with his league, and it's a paid one. I was like, oh God, all right, I'll do it, whatever. And then my family separately decided to do our free league again this year, so we're doing that again. So I've got two free leagues, three paid. I
Okay.
only wanted to do two paid, one free, which I mean it's kind of free, but I mean not really. Um, but the good thing about week one, BJ, is that I won in two leagues. I won in two leagues out of my five teams,
Okay.
and two of those leagues were my paid leagues.
Good.
So that is a
It's a big time step forward.
that is wonderful. And one of those teams that won had a very mediocre night, and they still won by I think double digits maybe.
Hmm.
And I very well could have lost that for sure. So that was the one where I won the championship in last year. So that would have been a terrible start to my
Yeah.
new season when I definitely thought I outdrafted the entire league. So, did you have any injury scares in your week one, or any injuries go down that will hamper your early season?
Well, I have George Kittle in one of my leagues, and he
Mm,
missed last week's game for the Niners, but that's not a severe injury. I will say, last year in the same paid league, is this is my second year in this paid league. I got off
mm-hmm.
to a really good start, and then Derrick Henry went down, and that pretty much ruined my flow and everything because I was the best team in the league that year until Henry went down. So I'm hoping that I kind of get up to a little bit slower start, but then once we get going, we really get going and come out of nowhere to surprise everybody because I feel like I drafted really well.
I've had some bumps in the road, BJ,
Hmm.
and it's thankfully I'm a good
Ooh,
drafter, or else it would really kick me in the mud. Freaking Dak is
yeah.
your quarterback. Oof.
Oh, yeah.
It
Not
would really
having
kick
Dak
me.
and Cam Akers in one. Oof.
It would really kick me if I wasn't a good drafter. And this
Yeah.
this in my league that I won in last year, this is where all
Hmm.
the injuries have happened.
Oof. Who'd you
I've
have?
got I've got Fournette questionable for week two
Ooh.
as my RB, my second starting running back.
Hmm.
I got my wide receiver one, Keenan Allen, out for week two,
Oh, yeah.
and got
Out tonight.
half of the game maybe in the week one matchup. Godwin came back in week one after his injury last year, got a new injury, hamstring, out or questionable for week two. And Elijah Mitchell, knee banged up on the
Ouch.
IR, out
Mm.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
And he was my depth running back. And if Fournette gets hurt, I'm going to be drowning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's for that one. I think I had another injury problem over here. Let me double check myself, but I've had that one hurts, but thankfully I got a win in week 1 in that one. Oh,
Yeah.
in my brother's league, he's got one where you draft defensive players, so defensive linemen, defensive end,
Hmm.
DBs.
And he's got TJ Watt, I'm guessing.
I've got TJ Watt. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Oof.
TJ Watt IR
Yeah.
now. Um
For Cam. GG's in the chat. He's got a few
yeah.
hurt.
I
Um,
had a backup, as far as bench players. I had Cam Jordan, I put him in to fill in right behind TJ Watt, and he's questionable right now.
yeah. So
And
I just checked. I have DeForest Buckner on my bench in the one league that I do have defensive players. He's questionable. And then in the other league, I have Harrison Butker out, but I do have another kicker, so I'm not worried about that. It just depends on how many points the Rams want to score this week.
my RB1 in this league, BJ, Alvin
Mhm.
Kamara, questionable ribs,
Oh yeah. Mm.
just unbelievable luck right now. And let me double check in this last one, see if I got anything crucial. I don't know if he'll miss, but Michael Pittman Jr. questionable.
I think
So
he's all right. Everything I've seen is he should be okay. But yeah,
yeah, it's a defensive league. It's the only league I've ever been in that does that with those individual defensive players.
yeah, this is
I
the
like
second
it.
year in a row that I've had a defensive player as well as a defense and special team. So I think it's enjoyable. It gives you a little bit more each week, especially if you get the right defensive player. He has a big game. So
Right.
I'm hoping for fantasy good karma coming your way as well as for me. I'm hoping for a 2-0 week. I know you're hoping for a 5-0 week, Drew.
Went 2-3 in week one,
But
but
the two wins counted the most.
That's right. That's right.
Good
Looking for a
stuff.
bounce back in week 2 and hoping for good, healthy players as the week goes along. And I know all you guys that are playing fantasy football are out there hoping for the same thing, hoping for a bounce back, hoping for your first championship, maybe your first playoff berth, and
Yeah.
just to not have a miserable season and become last place and have to do whatever your league commissioner and
Yeah.
your league people have
Oof.
decided that you have to do if
The
you get
punishment.
last.
Mm. You know who else is hoping for a bounce back, Drew?
Who dat?
That would be the Connecticut Sun, down
Mm.
2-0 in the WNBA Finals.
Impeccable transition skills, my friend.
Thank
As
you.
we dive into the WNBA Finals on this WNBA side of things, as BJ's saying, down 2-0, Connecticut Sun. Man, Vegas is rolling right now,
Mhm.
BJ. I mean, Chelsea Gray still can't really be stopped, and uh, Asia Wilson, the Defensive Player of the Year and MVP this season, has been getting on her teammate Kelsey Plum's her butt about getting it into gear because she has been shooting atrociously in this playoffs and
Yeah.
had to get aggressive and really do something in Connecticut's last or the last matchup against Connecticut in these WNBA finals, and now they have a chance to sweep on the road. But on the road in Connecticut, tough,
Very
tough. And
tough.
I
Very tough,
know
Drew.
this is probably. I think this is the only situation that they've been in. Like I can't remember. It has been months since the Sun have lost back-to-back games. I
Yeah.
believe, and they had only lost four games total, I believe, since the All Star break before playoffs, and I don't think any of those were back to back. So it's been at least probably 2 months since the Sun have lost back to back games,
Yeah.
and they're in that spot right now, and they know in that locker room, they've got to know in that locker room at this point that if they lose tonight on a Thursday as we record, and Game 3 is happening in Connecticut,
Mhm.
if they lose tonight, that team is breaking up. That
Yeah.
team is breaking up. It will never be built like it is right now. Bree Jones is going to get an offer somewhere else, get maxed out, and be someone's starting center as she should be.
Hmm.
I really feel like, well, depending on how committed they are to that youth movement, I mean, Indiana might just go ahead and give a call and just give her the bag and be like, "Hey, you're our starting center. Take us there." And but no, they're definitely going to break up after this. They've been around the block too many times. This year was their fourth straight semifinals, their second finals appearance in the last uh, 4 years since 2019. And if they come away empty-handed once again, I don't know how the bulk of that team will stay looking like it has been a lot lately. They were a new looking squad after they parted from Chiney and Gumake early on, I believe, going into that 19 season. And they've been this group since, and I think it's time to switch it up and get a new crop in there. But
Yeah.
they've got the complications with that now is there are two relationships on that team now that are part of what would be shaken up possibly if you want to move things around, which you probably do. I mean, Jazz Thomas and Natisha Heidemann in their relationship, but I mean, you probably need some better guard play than Heidemann, and you don't know if Jazz Thomas will even play next year, so you might as well go ahead and move on from that maybe, and maybe just I mean maybe you can draft somebody, maybe you can get somebody in free agency, maybe you can trade for somebody. But the Sun will look different if they don't win this finals, and it's probably especially if they get swept. They might have some misgivings about it if they can force a Game 5 and lose it and be like, you know what, man, we're still right there. But like, let's keep the
Yeah.
bulk of this together. We can't afford Bree Jones. They're not going to be able to afford Bree Jones, so she's
Hmm.
gone. But the bulk of that will stay together
Yeah.
if they were to force it to a Game 5, maybe. But
Yeah.
if they win it, I think, kind of all bets are off, kind of like a 2011 Mavs situation. Like, hey,
Hmm.
we're finally here. We got to the mountaintop. We did what this team was supposed to do. Bree Jones, go make your money. JJ, we would like to build around you. Alyssa Thomas, we can't afford for you to go anywhere. DB's your girlfriend, and she still cooks a little bit. We keep her. We need some better guard play. Courtney Williams, you just got back. You can stay. Uh, and rebuild around it. You maybe keep Carrington, but maybe get a new bench unit. I don't know, but the team
Yeah.
would look different for sure. It's time. It might be time to rebuild if they can't make an improbable comeback. I don't know, which I'd have to check the ESPN stats and info, which we don't get near as many cool ones for the W as we do the NBA. But I
Hmm.
don't believe a team has ever come back and won the WNBA Finals from a 2-0 deficit when it was a 5-game series.
No, I don't believe they have, Drew. And here's the
So
thing that's a sad thing. You know, Connecticut pretty much had the game they wanted in their hands in game one. They were able to keep this Vegas team. They, weren't shooting the ball a whole lot well, really. I mean, other than Asia, who you expect to have a big game. She had 24. Chelsea Gray did contribute 21 as well, but they were able to kind of keep it to just those two players. You limit Kelsey Plum to 1 of 9, especially 1 of 7 from deep. And Jackie Young only had 11, contributing 5 of 12 and 1 of 3 from deep. Vegas shot 21% from three and just 40% from the field. And you hold them to 67 points. That's a tough thing to do. And so, that's the game that they really, they had their best shot to really seize momentum in this series and get a win that not a whole lot of people expected them to. And then Vegas just comes back out on Tuesday in game two and does what they do. They shot the ball extremely well. They didn't have to go and get the 3-point shots like they were trying to make in game one and not making. They attacked the paint, especially, Drew, in game two. They were 23% from downtown as a team in game two, but they shot almost 52% from the field. They went into the paint a lot. They were able to find whole like space to run their offense, and they you saw they proved why they were the best team in the league this season with a 14-point victory that arguably probably wasn't even that close for a good majority of it. So it's tough for me to think that this Sun team is going to do the impossible because they had their shot. If they had taken game one, this would be a completely different series. I don't think they're going to sweep tonight. I don't even think it's going to go back to Vegas, though. I think it'll be Vegas in four, if I had to make a guess.
the reason, well, I don't want to say the reason, but you know, all the bigs in this series for Connecticut have been playing well. I
Hmm.
mean, as far as like, getting theirs each night, um, and not really having a problem in this series, they've been able to do that. And Vegas has a total of, I believe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 20+ point quarters in this series. You know how many Connecticut has? Two.
One,
Two.
two.
One, the second quarter of each game so
Mm,
far.
yeah,
They somehow turn it on. But you know what their problem is, I mean, you've got so many, high scoring quarters for the Aces, you don't have near that for Connecticut. They've got to start matching that in the scoring department and limiting the Aces. I mean, and the bigs are doing all they can do. I mean, they just need more help. Courtney Williams had a fine game in the last one, 9 for 17 with 18 points and 5 assists. But I mean, you're still not getting anything from Heidemann. Over 0 for 3 in game two, 0 points. 3 for 8 in game one, 10 points. I mean, all right, you got a little something there, but the real problem is DeWanna Bonner right now, man. She's not giving anything to the Sun. 1 for 9
yeah.
in both games so far for a total of 5 points.
It's not going to cut it, Drew.
The
It's not. I
veteran
mean,
leader, the multi-time champion, the multi-time six woman of the year is offering you nothing when you need her the most. If DB is effective, if DB can turn it on, man, that's another thing that they have to worry about. And then the guards can maybe eat a little bit easier. But DB ain't 2 for 18 is just what is that? What is and it's not like she's some impeccable defender offering you something on that end of the floor either. If DB is out here chunking up bricks, I mean, she's getting buckets scored on her too, probably. I mean, with
yeah,
all due respect, birthday twin, you got to start hooping. The Sun needs you, yo. The Sun
yeah,
needs you. And I mean, when you look down the bench as well, I mean, aside from Bree Jones, they ain't getting no bench help. They ain't getting
yeah.
no bench help.
No, no,
And
and that's the thing. Like when you're shooting 8.9% from the field, that's not going to win you games. That's just,
no,
especially she got what 32 minutes on Tuesday and how many minutes on in game one on Sunday? Let's see, that was
DB 30.
30. Yeah, 30. So I mean, she's out there for over 3 quarters of these games, and just almost not trying to be mean, but just getting cardio. It feels like
He's one
you
for
know
eight
they're
from three.
yeah, they're going to need something from her in tonight in game 3, and hopefully if they do get the win, in game 4 to even really have a chance. I won't count them out, Drew, because they have done this before where they've gotten kind of in a little bit of a pickle. They got down to Chicago and went on the road and won in that game 5 in the semis when not a whole lot of people expected them to. They were down 2-1. They won at home in game 4 and then went on the road in game 5. So if any team is shown that they can come back from a 2-0 deficit, it's the Sun team. But this Aces team is on a whole nother level. I think that they will win this series in 4. I think that they will give, Connecticut will have a really good game here in game 3. But I think it's going to be too much. Vegas has just proven that they're the best team in the league. They've looked at all year long, Drew. Even back before the season started, I was on this Vegas train and talking about how I thought Becky Hammond was the one missing piece they needed to get this team above, up on the mountaintop and above the hump. And they're one win away.
What is what does Chelsea Gray need to do to capture this Finals MVP if the Aces win it tonight? She's
Well, I
pretty
mean,
close right now with it. I mean, you can't deny Asia's numbers so far in the finals. I mean, game one, 24 and 11, 6 for 11 from the field, uh, with 4 blocks in the game. Game two, 26 and 10, a block, 10 for 13 in the game. Chelsea Gray, though, I mean, we know she's been doing it all playoffs, so we know how it comes to this voting for this finals
yeah,
MVP is that it is just finals. Chelsea Gray, though, game one, 9 for 17, 21 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. Game two, 21 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, 9 for 16. Playing, I mean, scoring efficiently as well, doing as well as a
yeah,
guard could.
yeah,
But Asia Wilson, I mean, she's barely combined. She is 16 for 24.
yeah. So here's the thing, Drew. I mean, it is the playoffs MVP, and it should be Chelsea Gray. But in order for her to really make
70%
that
from the field.
case tonight, what's that?
About 70% from the field for Asia Wilson.
Yeah, that's what 3/4, 75, I think. 16 to
Yeah,
24 or 2/3. Yeah, 66-7. Sorry,
yeah.
did the math wrong. Anyway, I mean, it's gonna be. I think it should be Chelsea Gray. It'll probably be Asia unless Asia just has a down game in game 3. If
Hmm.
if they win this game and it's because of Chelsea Gray, if Asia has an off night, then she'll get it. She'll win and she'll deserve it too. I think she could win it if she has, if she's doing the same thing consistently tonight and then potentially in a game 4 on Sunday that she's been doing in the first 2 games, and it does go to 4, and Asia has a couple of off nights, then it'll be hers.
I feel like they needed to go to 4. I can't remember. I would have to look. Let me check back real quick. I don't remember if the Sun got a game in the finals. Okay, they did. It went 5. Okay, so they've won a finals game before. They've won 2 of them. Now both teams have officially won the same amount of finals games because the last time the Aces were in the finals, they got swept and didn't get one. But now they're trying to kind of even up their finals record at 3-3 if they happen to sweep through. But yeah, I mean, gonna be a daunting task no matter what. Connecticut's got some fight while they're back at home. It's all. I think it just all depends on DeWanna Bonner, man. If she can get going and make herself a threat out there, then the Sun have a chance. If she continues to toss up bricks and can't help you offensively, then they get swept tonight for sure.
Yep,
And that is that
absolutely.
on the WNBA Finals. BJ, so are you gonna what's your prediction? Are they getting finished tonight, or or did the Sun live to see another day on Sunday?
I'm predicting Sun live to see another day on Sunday with game 4. Not intentionally trying to make a pun there, but I think that the Sun win game 3 and they give themselves some hope for game 4. But I think it's going to be too much at the end. I've got Vegas on Sunday winning in 4 on Connecticut's home court.
I think I'm right there with you. I think I'm right there with you. I think it would be the most colossal mistake the Aces could ever make to allow this to get to a game 5, possibly. If it did,
Yes, yeah. If
I
you
just
give
think
them all the momentum going back, I mean they're going to win. I think if you let them win both games at home, It's tough to overcome, that much momentum going from one side to the other in just a couple days.
And I think that as much as I want to go with you, BJ, and say this extends to Sunday, so
You
far
think
in this
Vegas wraps it up tonight?
so far in this playoffs as Connecticut has gone along, when they were about to get, beaten by a decent margin in the game, they come back and like figure it out at the end to kind of reduce the gap. They did it against the Wings. They did it in at least one game against the Sky, and kind of brought things back down. They did not do that in this last game against Vegas, really. I mean, it's 14 points, but
Yeah,
not
but
really in the fashion that they had been. Had they
yeah,
got it down to like maybe 10 or like inside 10 somehow,
yeah,
then I feel like Connecticut would definitely force four and maybe even five. But I just feel like Aces rolling right now, if they can just keep cooking the way they are. I mean, Asia and Chelsea just can't be stopped. I think it's probably over in three. I want it to extend in four because my wallet would love for it to go to four and then five and then Sun win in five. But the Aces are about to sweep probably. So that's
yeah.
the
I
end of
can,
that.
yeah, I can definitely see that, Drew.
Now it's time for some with it or quit it
Yeah.
from Mr. BJ, and yeah, we're giving BJ a pass this time, guys. He he was not fully encapsulated in the fact that we scrapped last week's episode because of audio and realized it was him again. So I
Well,
don't
I
know what
think
we've got here.
think we got some of what we may have had a week ago. I'm
Maybe you
not
can get
gonna.
some help from Cam. Maybe Cam can
Yeah,
help you out
Cam
with
Cam can
some with
throw a
it or quit it
couple out
questions.
there. Yeah,
But let me see. Make sure we got here. We
I
got
was gonna
one.
say
Who's
I'll
got one?
jump
Who's
in
got
for with it or
two?
quit it
I
as
I've
well.
got I got
All
So
right.
three right now. So if Cam, you want to take the other two,
You
and
got
we
two
can both
questions
answer even.
to
I have
help
three.
out
try to
BJ
find a
this week.
couple off the top of my head.
All
So
right.
the first one that we're going to start with, Drew, number one.
Okay.
So I may have talked about it last week. Obviously, nobody heard it, but the MLB race, there is a couple of players that are closing in on some historic milestones. Albert Pujols of the St. Louis Cardinals, 3 home runs now, shy of 700 in his career. And Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees is 3 home runs away from 60 in the regular season, 5 away from what would be a new American League record. So the question, Drew, both of these players are going to reach those milestones. They've got about 20 games left to do it. Are you with it or are you going to quit it?
I didn't know Aaron Jones was.
Aaron
I thought
Judge.
I thought Aaron Jones was Green Bay Packer.
Yes, he is.
Um.
Slip of the
So
tongue.
how many away did you say Judge was?
So Judge is 3 away from 60, 5 away from an American League record of 62. Pujols is 3 home runs shy. They both have about 20 games or so
So Judge
remaining.
gets both of his.
So Judge gets to 62. Pujols gets to
And
700.
okay, so Judge gets to. So he does have to hit both. So he has to get 60, like you were saying, and the record.
So the question, I mean, if he's going to get to the record, he's going to hit 60 first. But the
Okay, so
question
we
is,
are going with the record. Okay.
yeah, 62 and 700.
20 games.
About 20 games.
With it. Let's go
All
with it.
right. All
Let's go with
right.
it.
Loved it.
Do
Love
that.
to hear it. Love to hear it.
I don't. I'm nervous about Judge, but I think Pujols can get 3 in 20 games.
Judge just had a 2 homer game. I think it was Tuesday night. So he got even closer than he was just a couple of games ago. Cam just
Yeah,
quit it.
I don't blame you, Cam. I was nervous on that one.
Yeah. Well, that's all right because we're asking Drew and not Cam. All right, Drew. Number two. So this one's could be interesting. This is kind of a test of what you prefer. All right.
Mm,
So if somebody's going to gossip about you, the
mm.
question is, you would have the lie. If they spread a terrible lie about you, you'd rather them spread something terrible that's a lie rather than something that's terrible and the truth. So with it or quit it that a terrible lie is better to spread than a terrible truth.
Yeah, for sure. Because if I find out and I'm just like, yeah, that's total. That's Because
No argument.
I can easily I can laugh off a lie or like refute that real easily. But if it's truth, I'm like, oh, I got to
But
figure out how to
you
lie
can
real
deny
quick.
both. I
You
mean, doesn't
can,
mean that.
but like I can definitely get out of if I'm in a sticky situation that I know is not true, then I
Mhm.
can definitely get out of that adamantly, and I will make sure of it. So yes, with it.
Okay. Number 3. So, Drew, Dallas Cowboys, you said you got some quarterback issues. Dak Prescott out for who knows with a broken thumb. Dallas Cowboys should bring in Jimmy Garoppolo as their new starting quarterback. With it or quit it?
Nah, I'm gonna quit it. Um, I don't know, man. I just feel like he'd give Dak. I mean, it would be such a situation here because he'd give Dak serious competition for QB1 coming back. I mean, this brother's played in a dang Super Bowl. All right,
Mm-hmm.
so he led his team there. So he definitely. I mean, I mean, there's no reason not to sweep Dak aside if you bring in a Jimmy G at any point. Dak's got injuries that Jimmy G has not seen really, or not lingering ones. Like injuries keep popping up now with Dak, um, ever since the initial. But a quarterback that's played in a Super Bowl and that has beat your team. I mean, that's real enticing to me. If he comes in, he can could easy. I mean, that could easily start enticing, especially if he comes in and plays well. If you bring in if you trade for Jimmy Garoppolo after Cowboys lose week 2, start 0-2, and Jimmy
Ooh.
G comes in and is over 500 to play until Dak comes back. Let's just say that there's going to be 7 more games. Jimmy G plays unbelievable football. Dallas Cowboys somehow clicking and escaping, all playing on all cylinders. Running games looking beautiful. Defense looks nice. 5-2. Jimmy G gets you a 5-2 in his 7 games, and you are 5-4 when it's time for Dak to come back. Is that Jimmy G's stinking job, or is Dak actually get it back? It would definitely probably be
Well,
Jimmy's job for a minute,
well,
maybe. I
but
don't
and
know
that also you asked the question. You
until
know,
the
a lot of
wheels fall
people
off.
talked about it with trading for Garoppolo, but who runs Kellen Moore's offense better? I think it would be Dak because Dak has been in it
I'm
for
not
all
so
these
sure it should be
years.
Kellen Moore's offense.
I mean, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying, you would definitely have to change the offense if you got a Jimmy Garoppolo in there because he's not going to be able to, run the same kind of things that Dak Prescott is.
In
That option play that they ran with Cavante Turpin and then Tony Pollard and Dak faked the pitch and turned upfield. That's the first time he's run since the ankle injury, I'm pretty sure, without having to scramble.
I feel like Garoppolo's athletic enough to, if he has to run it, he can.
Hmm.
As far as the system, I don't see an issue there because Dak hasn't put the ball on the ground a lot in a
Yeah,
while. So it's
yeah.
not like we have our quarterback that's got to pick up about 6 yards for us every now and then. We'll probably. I mean, we man, this sounds like I'm trying to throw away Dak now, but I mean now it sounds more enticing the way man more I talk about it. If you bring in Jimmy G and he does well for you, he's gonna fit. He's gonna fit, and Buddy he's gonna be able to get rid of the ball quicker than Dak does too.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, and if he can come in and do that, and he's winning for you, and then Dak comes back, like, are you in your normal situation in previous years where you keep that quarterback in, and then when he bleeps up, you bring in your usual guy, or do you just kick Jimmy G off the saddle and put Dak back in it? If
Uh, the
depending on, I guess, how that goes.
issue's not going to be the quarterback, Drew. It's going to be who does Jimmy G or Dak throw to, and do they have time to even throw behind the offensive line that's held together by duct tape and zip ties right now? It's so bad. It was really bad to watch that
That's
on
fair.
Sunday night. Yeah. So all right, Cam's time to bring in these last two, with it or quit it, and I guess we'll both answer these.
Yeah. So,
What? No, these are mine. Get out of here.
Okay. All right. I'll remove myself.
um, So I've been going through and watching some more Game of Thrones.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Get your friend BJ on. Nah, get out of here. You don't want to watch the show. We don't want to talk to you right now.
yeah. So since I'm asking you,
There you go.
season, I just finished up season 4.
You're in a great spot.
Yeah, Red Wedding is the craziest plot
Oh
twist
my
in the
God.
history of TV. With it or quit it.
Plot twist? I don't know about plot twist,
Yeah.
but
Well,
surprise
unforeseen incident.
for sure. For sure. Absolutely. I actually made a Facebook post about this the other day on my personal. Like
Oh, okay.
it's the most like moment that I've seen watching a TV show, ever. Like
I,
it's more. I think since I had, I was a Game of Thronesy already and knew what Reigns of Castamere meant.
mhm,
I was like, I was bugging initially, just didn't know how it was gonna all go down.
yeah.
Like maybe they were gonna be, just captured, tortured. Like, hey, you married my daughter, but you're my prisoner for the rest of your life now. Thanks. Or something like that. But Reigns of Castamere came on. I was like, huh. And then a whole bunch of little different scenes happened. I was like, huh. And then everything. It was a lot.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
it's
And
definitely. I'm gonna say with it.
yeah, I haven't quite gotten that far yet. But I was familiar with the Red Wedding coming in because I watching it so many years after the fact.
Oh wait, you haven't seen the Red Wedding?
I had just seen it. Like I'm
So
saying
what
I
are you saying
hadn't
you
seen
hadn't
it
seen?
beforehand.
Oh,
Since I
okay.
hadn't seen the show, I had heard about it for years.
Got you.
It still 100% caught me off guard. I
Yeah.
was like, "What?"
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's one of the craziest, wildest scenes I've ever seen.
But the best
Um,
redemption you can ever find in a story, and I'm not gonna spoil this for you, but the best redemption you can find in a show, the start of season 7 in Game of
I'll
Thrones.
watch for
Just
that then.
prepare yourself in a couple seasons.
Alrighty.
All right,
Um,
one more. Number 5.
trying to think of the last one.
What you got here?
So a lot of people looked at the Dallas Cowboys, as a favorite coming into this year within the division. With all these injuries,
Absolutely not. We're not winning the division.
yeah, okay.
Quit it.
I was gonna say
Quit it.
Dallas still winning the division, so quit it on that. All right.
Heck to the gnaw.
Even before the injuries, they
It's
weren't going to win the
Phillies.
division.
It's Phillies, and we haven't won back to back in this division in years.
It's
It's
almost
been
been
like
20
15.
years. Yeah,
Yeah, like
Streaks are
15
made
years
to be
exactly.
broken.
it's not going
I'm
to
just
happen.
saying.
This
I,
one,
It,
this
it
one,
wasn't going to
this one is
happen
this one
before
is
the
not gonna happen.
injuries happened either.
Philly is too stinking good.
yeah.
But hey, that, ladies and gentlemen, is with it or quit it. Man, I
Woo!
appreciate you, Cam, for helping BJ out there. BJ again, we got to get BJ back on top of his game. I'm just kidding. I'm back with the with it or quit it next episode though. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this one. Make sure you're following us on social media if you're viewing this live right now. Check out the socials right above BJ's head: TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all at the underscore lowdown. That's THA underscore lowdown on all of those platforms. And BJ, I understand that we got a mailbag that we could dip into right now.
Yeah, we do, Drew. I've got one quick note. This is just kind of a little sample of what you can expect when we do get some more feedback in our mailbag. If you'll bear with me, I will pull up our mailbag monthly. Actually, going from the month of August, Drew. We got a question from our good friend Fabian. And he asks Drew, will SMU three-peat as Iron Skillet winners, or will the Iron Skillet be returning to Fort Worth? And also, how hostile will Ford Stadium in Dallas be when Sonny Dykes returns to the Hilltop? I think he's trying to maybe troll me as a TCU fan and talking about the TCU SMU rivalry, which is coming up here, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. No, SMU's not going to three-peat, and it will be a hostile environment. I can't expect them to have any pleasantries for Sonny Dykes returning to the Hilltop because of the way that he left. Drew, what say you?
It will definitely be a hostile environment. College stadiums have no mercy. All right, so
Yeah.
that's just what it
You,
is.
you
And
remember what happened when Chris Beard returned to Lubbock back in the college
buddy,
basketball season?
and I'm gonna go with an SMU three-peat. Sorry, BJ, I had to go on the
Well,
other end of the spectrum
it's
for you.
okay. Cam's
But
with me.
hey, you had to have somebody on your side this time.
I
I was
do.
not.
I do.
But yeah, I mean, it's what it is.
So if you want to be a part of the mailbag, send your questions into our email address. That is that's lowdown THA at gmail.com. And when we get a few more people that want to participate, Drew, we're going to have it's going to replace one of our, it's going to replace both of our segments for an episode. We'll be doing this each month.
Yes, indeed. And guys, a quick hint on what you could be asking us. Our college just went Division One this year, and are playing some Division One footballs. You see it on BJ's hat there. So I mean, you could ask about the Southland Conference and A&M Commerce and what they got going on. How do you expect the women's basketball team to fare in
Oh,
Division One
yeah.
in the Southland after they did so well in the Lone Star?
Yeah.
Men's basketball, will they be competitive in Division One? Who knows? You can ask us all those questions
Well,
about our school because now you'll see them in all those Division One competitions that you guys watch because you don't really watch D2 or D3, which I get it, understandably
yeah.
so. It happens. It happens. But hey,
See
now
if you can
and
get some
well, I
mind
don't.
gear on Fanatics.
That's what I was about to say. Maybe I don't know if it's on there yet. We can
I can
check,
look. I don't
but
think it is.
at some point they will probably join the fold on Fanatics. But in the meantime, you can still get on Fanatics and get any of that NBA or WNBA gear. Or, we were talking about fantasy football earlier, football jerseys, collectibles, and all that, all there on Fanatics. Would you make sure you're shopping with us? We got a code, or not a code, a link in our description, if I can talk. And BJ gave you a code that is on the website earlier. So once you hit that link, it'll be one of the first things you see when you go to Fanatics, and then you can just go find whatever you want, what you're looking for. But
Indeed,
make sure
promo
you
code lattes.
lattes. And make sure you go use that unique link so that you can shop with the Lowdown. We appreciate all your support. It definitely helps our show for sure. So we appreciate you guys once again. I'll be back with the With It or Quit It next week, and we'll be back again with another show and another With It or Quit It this time again next week. Want to give shouts to new producer Cam. Cam, the producer, appreciate you, my man, coming in, joining with us, and being active in the chat with us as well. And shouts out to everybody listening. We love you. We'll be back again next week, peoples. Peace.
Bye.